Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Katawa Shoujo part 17 or 18, I think. Last we were here, we just walked with Lily and Hanako to the tea house called the Shanghai. Inside the tea house, it takes on a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the high-back booths around the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise, the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from beneath the booth. Inside. Close enough.
I wasn't asleep, and welcome to the Shanghai.
Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to mind. You work here now? What happened to the library?
What? Lily? Hisao? Welcome to the Shanghai.
She's cute without her glasses. Yuko, still waking up, jerks into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process.
My glasses.
As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lily offers an explanation.
Yuko works here part-time as well as at the library. It's one of the reasons we often come here.
Yuko takes her glasses from my hands, shakily putting them back on.
Yes, that's right. Thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like, but there may be a delay as I will have to make it myself. It's alright, Yuko. Just have a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches would be fine. Right, I'll get right on that.
Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes the swinging half-doors open before realizing that she hasn't seated us.
I'm sorry. Please sit wherever you'd like. I'll be right back.
Following her advice, I lead Lily to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. As I begin to sit next to Lily, I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high-back booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All of the furnishings, from the cushions to the benches to the condiment holders, look dated, but aren't overly worn. I wonder if Lily deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that would go to lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament.
So, Hisao, I didn't know you played chess.
Well, not very well, but I do know how to play.
I suppose the obvious question would be, who won?
Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitate. I don't really want to look like I'm lording my victory over Hanako.
Hisao did.
Yeah, but, not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible.
Well done, Hisao. You've accomplished something I've only ever failed at.
Thanks. I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again.
Yes, it did.
Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me off guard, and only Yuko's cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into the conversation. Are you alright there, Yuko? You need a hand?
I'm fine. I have to do this properly. It's my job.
Concentration plays across her face while she stares at the tray in her hands, as if simply looking at its contents will hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't prove all that effective. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally clattering as they collide with one another. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table with only the subtlest of crashes.
There, see?
Well done?
Thank you, Yuko.
Yuko's head rockets downwards in her distinctive bow before answering.
You're very welcome.
Would you like to join us? There's something else I'd like to discuss about that recent order, if I may. voices someday. Ah, that's right. Lily and Yuko were discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lily helping with the Braille?
Ah, yes. We didn't get the chance to go through them, did we?
Yuko hastily sits down next to Hanako. Apparently her dedication to this job only goes as far as her concentration. Once it's broken, she suddenly loses it.
I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after classes. Lily? Oh dear, that's right. Tomorrow's Monday. How could I have forgotten?
I'm starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that's to be expected. I've been here for barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule.
Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement.
Lily roping me into stuff again?
Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe. But this is already overdue. And there are some things I need. This might be a problem.
Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer.
I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another if need be?
To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without even having the slightest idea what is going on isn't really my thing. I'm cool with it. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of the student council and their repeated attempts to recruit me.
Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new Braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It's quieter on that day than on weekends. Last week we couldn't go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week, but Hanako couldn't make it.
Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako?
Correct. You were a great help to me the other day.
I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think?
If you don't mind.
Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. I almost said great.
Okay. Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea?
It's now that I realize our tea has been sitting idly by all this time, getting no hotter.
It's my fault. Let me pour that for you.
Yuko reaches out with shaking hands, but I intercept her. She looks in no state to be handling hot liquids. It's alright, I've got it. Since you already made the tea and sandwiches, you fulfilled your waitress duties, right?
I guess.
Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I share out the assortment. Fuck you, fireworks. As I am about to bite into the sandwich, a low, loud rumble can be heard along with a flash of light from outside.
I take it the show has started.
Only now, looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in the peak of twilight. Sparkling traces arc upwards, ready to explode in the floral shapes of fireworks.
Let's go watch! Oh, sorry, Lily. Please, don't miss the show on my account. From what I've heard, this isn't a bad location to watch them from.
With the exception of Lily, we rush to the window of the small tea house to watch the show. Her eyes look blue right now. Yuko's, I mean. The strobe of colored lights play across Hanako and Yuko's smiling faces, and for a second I forget to look out the window. In this totally new world, there are a few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes such a fuss over the festival. It's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over all too quickly. Fireworks are expensive, even for the most well-funded schools. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me.
Thanks for today. And tomorrow.
That's okay. I don't think that I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, it's more relaxing to spend some time away from everyone, don't you think?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been delaying this tea for far too long now. Let's get back.
Sure.
We return to the booth in our light meal.
That sounded impressive. Bigger than the last year's, at least. Yeah, it was great. I've never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time, the tea has gone cold. Oh no, let me make some more. This is my fault.
Calm down, Yuko. It's nobody's fault. I take a sip from my cup, just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cool anyway. It's like an iced tea.
Really?
Yes, really. If you add a bit of sugar, it's kinda nice.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Now why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together?
Oh, okay.
Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures out about 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar.
I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway.
Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves in the cold liquid. She stirs it twice before upturning the cup and drinking the contents, sugar and all, in a single mouthful.
You're right, that's not bad at all.
Good? I look back to Lily and Hanako, both of whom had finished their meal as I witnessed Yuko's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in a single swill. Well then, seems we're all finished. Should we head back?
Should we head back now, or do we want seconds?
Yuko's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. You suck at your job, Yuko. I think that it would be best if we get back soon. We do have to get there before curfew after all.
Oh, that is a good point. I'll meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it, Lily. Goodbye, everyone.
We make our way out of the small tea house and into the dark of the night. Lily and Hanako once again take point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems slightly less stressed than she did on the trip here. We move against the occasional group of people emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. Outside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you both for today. I think I've learned a lot.
You're most welcome, but I'm afraid that I really must be going. Today's been a long day.
That's right, Lily spent most of the day on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside the school would be pretty tiring for her. I feel a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that got up around 10 in this morning. Sure thing. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, Hisao. Night.
The girls return to their dorm, and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well.
White screen.
Yay! Success! Also, I apologize, I didn't want to talk over it. I just love that cinematic. I still can't believe I failed on that other run. I've played this game so many times. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. Fuck you, alarm, you asshole. My body switches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into my uniform. As always, my bottles of pills sit on my desk patiently, waiting for me to take them and pick out my daily dosage of medicine. 17 pills a day. Holy shit. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class 3-3, glad to see that I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hungover from festival week. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt. With the festival now over, it's as if everyone's life dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside mine are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. Just as I am about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance, and arms stretched towards the sky. "With this drill I will pierce the heavens!" I can't quote that too well. I haven't watched it, actually.
Yahoo! It's all over!
It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glare at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the foul mood but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly she jerks forward.
Hey!
As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arm still extended from where she shoved Misha. ... Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seats? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate.
Oh, yeah. Shi-chan says she's not happy with you ditching us last week. We were really busy.
Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two?
She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything.
Misha leans closer and whispers conspiratorially into my ear.
Actually, I think she's just a little sore that you didn't spend the day with her.
I will not ever spend the day with Shizune. I hate her route.
She's really thankful for your work last week, though.
Sensing that she is being talked about, Shizune lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but this time at a much more reasonable pace. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk.
Good morning, Hisao.
Morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you?
I was talking to Lily. About today.
Ah, so you've got her list then? We can leave straight after classes in that case.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me and then hurries off to her seat. During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Muto simply gives a list of exercises from the textbook and then sits beside his desk. Behind. Don't know why he'd sit beside his desk. I totally forgot about the brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. It's mind-numbing, and everyone seems surprised when the bell signals the end of lessons. As I'm packing up my bag, Shizune and Misha flank and entrap me.
Say, Hichan, it's still not too late to join up. There's a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete.
Sorry, Misha. I've got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide and she bursts into laughter.
You move fast, don't you, Hichan? We won't disturb your date any further.
I'm never gonna get her laugh. I will not do her laugh. Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly on the floor.
Well, let's...
Gotcha. Shizune, Misha, I'll see you later. And I'm still not interested in the council. Yeah, fuck you, Shizune. Fuck you and your council.
Spoil sport.
Misha and Shizune retreat into the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. For a little it's weird. It's almost a scene from any other high school, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. One thing I do notice is that nobody is alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual, just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she has moved a little closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her bag, and the point of whitening her knuckles, her head down and her mouth pursed closed. She almost looks like she's being walked to the principal's office for the first time. Just take a second and imagine like a little kid Hanako being walked to the principal's office for, I don't know, not doing her homework or some bullshit. I try to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it's futile.
What's the matter?
I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry. For a second there it looked like you were getting in trouble.
What do you mean?
I think you need to relax a little. We're not going too far, and it's only students around, right?
Right.
It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you?
Yes, with Lily.
Of course, with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left the school without her? It doesn't seem like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch on to? And what drew her to Lily? Was it her lack of eyesight? Or was it Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles remain their color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards town. The crowd of students ends as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster students rush ahead, and the less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. I don't recognize that word. But on that, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.